Next, I want to run you through a quick exercise in finding a piece of property and how to determine quickly if there's wetlands and if you should start to move forward with it. You can start off with any aggregator you'd like. Here I'm using Zillow. Obviously, you want to start to filter out things like price. If we want to look at maybe no more than $250,000. And then we want to go over to home type and just deselect all and look at lots and land. And then you may want to do other things like maybe set it to have a minimum square footage. So, when we were looking for property, we were looking for at least an acre. Now we've narrowed down our search quite a bit. Why don't we look over in this area here in Orange County where there's a lot of pieces of property available. If we look at this one here, it's $100,000. It's on Quinlan Street, and it's 1 acre of land. And we could start by just maybe read the description, see what it says. Not really any good information. This does say it has 150 feet of frontage, which is good because in Orange County you require at least 105 feet of frontage in order to build on the piece of property. And then there's a few pictures, one outlining and a couple pictures of the front of the property, but nothing really that seems useful at the start. But we can actually see that there is a house here next to it. So the next thing we want to do is actually go over to Google Maps. Here's Quinlan Street. Here's the house. And you can see there's a couple, looks like it'd be a couple lots here, but this is the piece of property we're looking at. Again, not much you can tell from this. It looks like just a bunch of trees. So the next thing we want to do is we need to find out its parcel ID. That wasn't given in the Zillow description. So we'll go over here to Orange County Property Appraiser. We'll do a property search. We don't know the parcel ID, so we can just type in the address, the street that it's on. Quinella. And we'll just do a search. And then we want to go over here to Map All. And this shows all of Orange County, but Quinella is over here. And we know that by Google, it's near the intersection of Abney and Quinella. So let's zoom in. And the other thing you could do to help you out is if you select a base map and hit aerial, now you can see like a Google Street View. And we can see that actually here's that house, and it looks like it was under construction when this picture was taken. Now we have a little more useful information. This is the parcel. This gives us the parcel ID. And then we could see something interesting here. This gray circle would identify that this whole area here is cypress trees. Cypress trees are what are considered an obligate wetland species, meaning that they only exist in wetlands. With this here, you can see that this cypress dome merges into this property almost halfway. Orange County also requires a 50-foot buffer between any wetlands and where you can disturb or build. So this is not the edge of the wetlands. There has to be a 50-foot buffer somewhere around here in order to not disturb these wetlands. At best, the only areas that might be buildable is right up here by the road, or you could have a very long driveway come along this edge of the property and be buildable back here. That's assuming that this area is not also wetlands. The next thing we can do is see if there's actually a CAD on this piece of property using this parcel ID. We would go over here to Fast Track. URLs will be in the description of the video. And if you look down here, you'll see Search Tools. Click on Search Tools and go to Permit Search All Types. Select Environmental Permits and enter the parcel ID from before. 24, 23, 32, 1165. So 24, 23, 32, 1165, 10, 380. And search. Now we can see there's not a CAD on here. If there was, it would say CAD, but we do have something that was entered. You can see here there's an email correspondence, so not really anything useful. You can go ahead and click in here if you want to read, but not a CAD, so it's not very useful. The other thing we can do is go over to this website, which is done by the Fish and Wildlife Service, and it's the National Wetland Inventory. We can zoom in on our area, and we're looking for Quinella. Here's that cypress dome. You can see that they're marking of this as wetlands. It's a little off the cypress dome, but the cypress dome is wetlands. And this is a different home that was under construction when this was taken. The home that's under construction in this picture is not here yet. The way they determine wetlands is actually by the plant species and the soil in the area. If you're really interested in getting into the details, you can go onto Google and search Field Identification Guide for WAP plants. And this gives you this PDF file that's a guide on plants. They define the types of what species. There's upland, adaptive, transition, outer deep, and deep. And anything that's labeled with a D means it's either a facultative wetland or an obligate wetland species. So again, if we go down here and find cypress, you'll look under the common name. Here's cypress, and it's labeled with a D, meaning it's an obligate wetland species. Unless you're very good at identifying plants, I suggest just hiring a consultant who can be able to do this for you. But this information is available if you wish to use it. The other thing you may want to look at is your soil. You can go over to search the U.S. Geological Survey soil map, and you can get to this website. It's a web soil survey. You would push the green button, and you will zoom in by just putting a box around the area that you're interested in. Here we found our area again. You can see that this is taken at a different time before that other house was even here, but they had cleared the land. You want to select this button here, Area of Interest, and create a box around this area. Then you want to go up here to this tab and select Soil Map. And this labels a couple different soil types. We have Bassinger Fine Sand, Imalaki Fine Sand, and St. John's Fine Sand. So the property we were looking at here is somewhere in this section here. And so it has these two soil types. So based on this information, if we go back here, we can tell that this piece of property is not going to be ideal for building on. It's going to have quite a bit of wetlands to deal with. Let's continue on looking for another piece of property that might be good. This property here, $250,000, 2 acres. Let's take a look at it. So first off, it says all uplands county confirmed, CAD in progress with Orange County. Well, that's good. Let's take a look at that. First, let's locate the property on Google Maps. It says it's on Ortega. Here they've actually given us a picture that shows that it's on Ortega and Bancroft on the corner here, and they give us the part of the parcel ID. We can also see that it's 150 feet wide, so that means that's buildable. Let's find the property on Ortega, and it looks like it's this piece of property here. Go back over to property appraisers, do a property search, and type in Ortega. Map all, and we know it's on Bancroft, so it must be this property here. So now we have the parcel ID 1423327603, and do 1423327603, and do a search. We have a wetland determination here. And delineation agreement. Let's take a look at this. So what you do see here is that there's no wetlands marked on the property, but there is what's marked here. This says this is a surface water. This is a drainage canal that's part of Ranger Drainage District. So there's a roughly 30-foot easement on the back of the property, but other than that, this entire property would be buildable. These are some of the things that you would want to do in your spare time, just going through trying to find pieces of property before you get with a real estate agent and start making offers on the land. Do this pre-screening first, and it'll definitely help you narrow down your search to something that's buildable and is likely to be a good piece of land. Thank you.